guys, and welcome back to Hot Girls Eat Carbs. I'm your host, Brittany McChrystal, and I am so glad you're here. Whether you're out on your hot girl walk, driving to work, or curled up in bed scrolling, this is your cozy corner of the internet where we chat all things health, wellness, and sustainable weight loss. Now, I just wanted to say a big welcome to all of the new listeners and all of the old listeners as well. Lately, this podcast has been taking off. I've been getting a lot more new viewers, which is so amazing to see. I just love that I am able to get this podcast out there to new viewers to help support you on your journey. And before we dive in, don't forget to share this podcast with your bestie or pop it on your Instagram stories. It helps the space grow so much more. So, a little life update before we get into today's topic. I am so excited because this week is a big one. I am turning 30 on Thursday. Oh, what the heck? 30 years old, guys. Honestly, it feels so surreal. I've got all of my friends flying over from New Zealand, Australia. I've got 2 from America, 1 from London, plus a few that are already here in Thailand with me. My mum and her best friend are even coming over, which just makes my heart so happy. I just feel so grateful that all of the people that I love are willing to fly across the world to celebrate with me. Like, how insane is that? I just feel so blessed to have the best of friends ever. We've got such a fun week planned here in Koh Samui. I've booked a villa for everyone, so we can just soak up the sun, and we're going to do all of the fun things. We're going to explore local Thai cuisine. We're going to go out on the boat for a day. We're going to go see an elephant sanctuary. And I actually just got back from a couple of days in Melbourne with my mum too, which was so special because I haven't seen her since May. And honestly, we haven't had a girls trip, just the 2 of us, since I was literally like a little girl. So it felt really, really special. And I'm also looking forward to the rest of the year with coaching. I have some super exciting things coming up that I can't wait to share with you. I can't drop anything now, but it's like, again, just so surreal. But anyway, while my mum is here, I've even been thinking that we might sneak a little trip around Thailand somewhere, maybe Krabi, or somewhere a little bit obvious like Koh Chang. So if you've got any recommendations, send them my way for like littler places in Thailand, more unique places. I think that would be really cool to show mum a little bit more of Thailand. Alrighty, so let's get into today's episode, because while life updates are fun, I really wanted to chat to you about how to romanticize your daily habits while still staying consistent with your goals. This is where soft girl discipline comes in, and I just think that you're going to love this one. So, let's start here. For the longest time, I thought discipline meant punishment. When I first started my journey, I went in on all extremes. I was cutting carbs, saying no to dinners out with my friends, forcing myself to do workouts I absolutely hated, and then beating myself up if I wasn't perfect. And honestly, that cycle is exhausting, and it is why so many of us burn out when we're trying to just be good. I remember one point trying keto because I thought that it was the disciplined thing to do. I'd go out with my friends and not touch any sort of bread or any sort of carbs. I'd order food that I didn't enjoy, and deep down I just felt miserable. And the second that I slipped up, like if I had pasta or pizza, I would just spiral into guilt, and I feel like I had just failed myself and I was starting from day dot again. But what I realized is that real discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's about respecting yourself. It's brushing your teeth every day, not because you're punishing yourself, but because you want to take care of your body. That's how you should see discipline too. And that's how I see discipline now. These days, discipline for me looks totally different. I eat carbs every single day. I enjoy chocolate, wine, meals out. And I've still lost 27 kilos. Not because I was perfect all the time, but because I built consistency in the way that was sustainable. Discipline became self-love. It became I move my body because I feel better when I do. I prep meals because it makes my week easier. I choose foods high in protein because they keep me full and fuel my goals. And this is where the soft girl discipline comes in. It's not hustle culture. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground or forcing yourself into routines you hate. It's about creating structure in your life that feels supportive, not rigid. And it's about saying, I deserve to feel good. And I can hold myself accountable in a way that's kind and compassionate. And that is the difference between discipline that burns you out and discipline that actually builds you up. And this is where the magic happens, because this is how you actually start enjoying the process instead of just surviving it. When I started my journey, everything felt like a chore. Steps, a chore. Meal prep, a chore. Drinking water, a chore. And when everything feels like a punishment, you won't stick to it long term. So I started playing with the idea of romanticizing the little things, making the habits feel like rituals that I actually look forward to. And I'm telling you, girl, it changed everything. Walking. I used to see steps as a number I had to hit. Now my walks are a little therapy session. I pop in my AirPods, I listen to a podcast, or even just some music. I grab a nice coffee, and suddenly it feels like my favorite part of the day. When I was first losing weight, those 10K steps a day were my foundation. But they didn't just help me physically. Mentally, they gave me time to breathe, reflect, and reset. And to be fair, when I first started as well, I would try and walk for like an hour nonstop just because I felt like I had to hit that number. But once I realized is that you don't need to do all of your steps in one go. You don't need to be punishing yourself and going for like huge walks. When you break the walks up throughout the day, it becomes so much easier and so much more enjoyable, and it becomes something that you can actually look forward to rather than dreading because you've got to be walking for an hour. And meal prep. Honestly, I used to dread meal prep. It felt like hours in the kitchen with containers everywhere, but now I treat it like self-care. Again, I'll make a coffee, I'll light a candle, I'll put on a playlist or a podcast, and I keep it simple. I batch cook chicken or mince, I chop some veggies, and I have a few staples ready. And instead of it feeling like a punishment, it just feels like setting up future me for success. Now this next one surprised me, and it's actually journaling. And at first I thought journaling was silly. Like, what am I going to even write about? But making it cozy, having a cute notebook, a nice pen sitting at the window outside, it suddenly became something I look forward to. Sometimes it's just gratitude lists. Sometimes it's a brain dump, but every time it helps me feel more grounded. Sometimes I just jot down whatever is on my mind. Now let's talk about water. Even water can be romanticized. I used to think, I need to drink more water. Now I make it fun. I have a cute water bottle. I add some lemons or berries. I have a nice glass if I'm at home. It sounds so small and so silly, but those little details shift it from I have to into I get to. When you romanticize your habits, they stop feeling like chores and start feeling like little rituals that make your day better. And when something feels good, you're way more likely to stick with it. And here's the thing though, romanticizing is amazing, but vibes alone don't create results. You can't just wait for the candles, the playlist, or the perfect sunny walk because life isn't always aesthetic. Some days you'll feel tired, stressed, and short on time, or just not in the mood. And if you rely on everything feeling perfect, you won't follow through. But here's the beautiful part. The amazing things in life don't always come from big, dramatic moments. They come from the joy we bring into the mundane. Think about it. Most of your life is made up from those little daily actions: brushing your teeth, cooking dinner, walking to the shop, pouring a glass of water. When you learn to romanticize those small things, life suddenly feels softer, richer, and more full of gratitude. And that's actually what makes discipline sustainable. And this is where soft girl discipline comes in. Like I was saying before, don't wait for the vibe to be perfect. You've got to find joy in the rituals and still showing up when it's messy. It's the balance between enjoying a candlelit meal prep and still prepping a quick chicken breast when you don't have the time or energy. And here's what that looks like for me. I have my non-negotiables. I set a few things that are my anchors. For me, it's hitting my protein each meal, moving my body daily, and getting enough water. No matter what is going on, travel, stress, even being sick, I come back to those basics because they ground me. And routines, I've built habits into certain times of the day so they feel automatic. Water as soon as I wake up, journaling before bed, a walk after lunch. I don't have to overthink them anymore. They're just woven into my day. An imperfect action. And some days, girls, it's not pretty. Some days I don't hit 10K steps, but I do hit 6K, and that's still something. Some days my workout isn't my strongest, but I still show up and move. And some days I don't prep a fridge full of meals, but I make sure I've got chicken or eggs ready. It's remember discipline is showing up imperfectly and being okay with that. The biggest shift for me is realizing that discipline doesn't need to be loud or aggressive, and it doesn't need to be no pain, no gain. It can be quiet, gentle, and soft, and it's the decision to take care of yourself even in the tiniest ways when you don't feel like it. And honestly, that is the sweet spot. Romanticizing the habits so they feel beautiful, layering in structure so they stick, and allowing yourself to enjoy the little things. And that is how you build results that last. And more importantly, a life that feels really good to live. However, I did want to touch on this too, because social media has kind of tricked us into thinking that healthy habits only count if they look aesthetic. Like you need to have the perfect green juice in a glass straw, and your matching workout sets, and a spotless white kitchen, and a fridge full of rainbow meal prep containers all lined up in order. And don't get me wrong, that stuff looks really cute on Instagram. I've definitely fallen into the trap of thinking if it doesn't look like that, then I'm not doing it right. But the reality is, most of life does not look like that, and it does not need to. Real life looks different. Sometimes your hot girl walk is in the rain, with your hoodie pulled up, music blasting in your headphones that don't match the chill vibe aesthetics at all. And all of that still counts, girl. It's still discipline, and it's still progress. Your body doesn't know or care if your salad is color coordinated for Instagram. Calories don't know your food is plated in a pretty bowl. Your muscles don't care if your sports bra matches your leggings. Your body doesn't know if you're drinking water out of a glass jar with lemon slices or straight from the tap. It just knows that you're hydrated. And that is why I think it's so important to take the pressure off the aesthetic and come back to the purpose. Walking is still walking, protein is still protein, sleep is still sleep. The point isn't to make it look perfect. The point is to actually do it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I was saying before, I love romanticizing things. I love a matching set. I love a cute water bottle, and I'll happily light a candle when I meal prep because it makes me feel more special. But soft girl discipline means that you don't have to wait for those vibes in order to take action. You just enjoy them the way that they are, but you also keep showing up when it's not perfect. And honestly, sometimes the messy days matter more than the perfect ones. And those are the days you can prove to yourself that you can follow through even when it's not Instagram worthy. That is where the real change happens. And that is where confidence is built in. It's built in the unglamorous, unposted moments when no one else is watching, but you showed up anyway. So babe, if there's one thing that I want you to take away from today, it's that the magic isn't in the perfect routine or in the aesthetic Instagram moment. The magic is in showing up again and again, even when it's not cute, even when it's messy, and even when no one else sees it. Romanticize the little things when you can. Light a candle, put on the playlist, and make your habits feel special. But also know that the real power comes from the discipline of doing it anyway. That is how you build trust with yourself. And that is how you build a lifestyle that actually lasts. The joy in life isn't some big overnight transformation. It's in the little daily choices that slowly add up. It's in the glass of water, the walk after dinner, the meal you prepped for your future self. And when you can find joy in those small moments, everything starts to feel lighter. So this week, I want you to ask yourself, how can I make my habits feel like a gift to myself? And then, how can I keep showing up for them even when it's not perfect? Because that's where soft girl discipline lives, in the balance of joy and consistency. So thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or give me a review, please. It means the world and it helps this community grow. And DM me with one little habit that you're going to romanticize this week. I would love to hear it. I will see you in the next one. Have an amazing week.